Did you know that one of history's most celebrated composers spent his entire life longing for women he could never fully have, pouring all that unrequited love into melodies that still cradle souls today? Picture this: a young man of 20 arrives at the home of Germany's most famous musical couple, plays a few notes at the piano, and within moments, the husband calls him a genius destined for greatness. That night, the young composer locks eyes with the wife, and his heart is lost forever. This is the story of Johannes Brahms, and believe me, it's more dramatic than any opera he ever wrote. Before we dive into this tale of devotion and heartbreak, let me introduce you to our hero. Johannes Brahms was born on May 7, 1833, in Hamburg, Germany. His father, a struggling musician, played double bass and horn, while young Johannes began astonishing people with his piano skills, improvising his own sonatas by age 11. But talent alone didn't put food on the table, so Brahms spent his teen years playing piano in rough dockside taverns, hardly glamorous but rich in life experience. Everything changed in 1853 when 20-year-old Brahms met Hungarian violinist Ede Reményi. Through Reményi, Brahms discovered the vibrant world of Roma and Hungarian folk music, which would later inspire his wildly famous Hungarian dances. You've heard them, even if you don't realize it. Hungarian dance number 5, especially, is everywhere in movies and cartoons. Out of 21 dances, 3, Nozir 11, 14, and 16, were Brahms's own compositions. The rest were brilliant arrangements of traditional melodies. They're joyful, rhythmic, and unforgettable. Now the story gets truly fascinating. Thanks to his friend, violinist Joseph Joachim, Brahms received a letter of introduction to Robert and Clara Schumann. Robert was a celebrated composer and music critic, while Clara was one of Europe's great pianists. Brahms arrived in Düsseldorf on September 30, 1853. When he played his first piano sonata, Robert was so astonished that he stopped Brahms mid-performance, called for Clara, and together they listened spellbound. Robert quickly wrote an article praising Brahms as Fate's chosen one, a glowing endorsement that launched Brahms's career overnight. The Schumanns invited Brahms to stay for a month. Their home was lively with 7 children, a magnificent music library, and stimulating conversation. Brahms learned from Robert and took piano lessons from Clara. But amid this mentorship, a complication arose. Brahms fell hopelessly, passionately in love with Clara. Let me be clear, Clara Schumann was remarkable. 14 years older than Brahms, a virtuoso pianist, a mother of 7, and a gifted composer, and inconveniently married to the man who just boosted Brahms' career. Tragedy struck just months later. In February 1854, Robert suffered a mental breakdown and attempted suicide in the Rhine River. He survived, but was plagued by hallucinations and was committed to an asylum. Brahms returned to help the Schumann family, managing the household and supporting Clara emotionally. He became her closest confidant, serving as a messenger between her and Robert. Imagine the torment, loving a woman he couldn't have, caring for her while her husband, his mentor, deteriorated. Clara felt it too. In her diary she wrote, "There is the most complete accord between us. It is the fresh mind, the gloriously gifted nature, the noble heart that I love in him." But such feelings were forbidden. While Robert lived, anything beyond friendship was impossible. Robert died in July 1856, leaving Brahms and Clara devastated. With nothing preventing their union, many expected them to finally marry, but they didn't. After a holiday together in Switzerland, they parted ways. Clara later wrote she felt she was returning from a funeral. Why didn't they marry? No one truly knows. Perhaps Brahms's reserved nature or their devotion to art above romance kept them apart. What's certain, their friendship endured for 40 years. Over 800 letters survive, mostly about music and their careers. Brahms never married, despite other romantic entanglements. While in Hamburg, Brahms befriended Bertha, a singer in his women's choir. Romance blossomed, but faded. Bertha eventually married Arthur Faber, and the Fabers became Brahms's chosen family in Vienna. When Bertha had a son named Johannes, Brahms composed his famous lullaby as a hidden love letter. The counter-melody woven into the piece was a folk song Bertha had sung to Brahms during their walks. Imagine receiving such a gift, lullaby for your child, echoing the song you once shared. The first public performance of the Wiegenlied happened on December 22, 1869 in Vienna, with none other than Clara Schumann at the piano. Brahms's great love playing his tribute to another. Brahms's romantic life stayed bittersweet. An engagement to Agathe von Siebold ended quickly. He fell in love with Clara's daughter Julie, but said nothing. Toward middle age, he spent time with Alice Barbie, but never married. Throughout, Clara stood by him, championing his music, encouraging him, critiquing his work with honesty. Brahms's music is extraordinary. His first symphony took 22 years to perfect, and critics dubbed it Beethoven's 10th. He wrote 4 symphonies, a violin concerto for Joachim, 2 piano concertos, hundreds of songs, and his magnum opus, a German requiem, a work that comforted the living with sublime beauty. While Wagner and Liszt pushed musical boundaries, Brahms remained loyal to classical forms, infusing them with romantic depth. He may have seemed conservative, but he gave these old structures new life, sparking modern debates about tradition and progress. Brahms was shy and reserved, often self-critical, but warm and witty with friends. He was loyal and eccentric, qualities that endeared him to those close to him. Clara, his dearest friend, suffered declining health and died in 1896. Brahms's own health collapsed soon after. His final works contemplate death with moving intensity. He died 11 months after Clara, on April 3, 1897. On his funeral day, all ships in Hamburg flew flags at half-mast. Johannes Brahms's life was marked by longing, love unreturned, devotion unfulfilled. Yet he transformed that longing into music that still moves us today. He never married or had children, but his art became a living legacy. Every note carries traces of that yearning. Sometimes painful, always beautiful. Perhaps the most romantic story of all is not a fairy tale ending, but the reality of love transformed into art. Brahms gifted us his heart, and more than a century later, we're still listening, still enchanted by music, born of longing and loss. The next time a mother sings his lullaby to her child, remember, what began as a secret love song endures as a universal melody. Extraordinary, don't you think? If you enjoyed this tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. There's more music history and drama to come right here on my channel.